In this video we're going to speak about what the best guitar pick is for beginners. Guitar picks are really important, and one of the problems is that you have to choose a guitar pick very early on in your guitar journey. So if you're a guitar beginner, then you need to choose a guitar pick and you don't really know which ones are best. And the problem that causes is a lot of the time people try to play the guitar with picks that are completely unsuitable for beginner guitarists. So why does your pick choice matter? There's two reasons really. There's two things that you've got to decide. One is how thick do I want the pick to be, and the other is what material you want it to be made of. Now, in my experience, the material doesn't really matter that much. They all do the job, but I prefer to use nylon picks. But guitar pick choice is a very personal thing. Some people would prefer to use, like you get these tortoiseshell ones or ones that I feel a bit more ceramic. You can get some that have, they're textured to make them a bit more grippy. Some people like to be able to move the pick in their hand as they play. So there's a lot of personal choice that goes into finding the perfect guitar pick for you. But the issue is, when you're beginning, you just want a pick that you can use that's going to be a kind of good middle of the road option. The number one mistake that most guitar beginners make is they choose a pick that's too thick for what they need, because you kind of see them there in the guitar shop and you pick them up and you sort of give them a try, you give them a bit of a wiggle. And I don't know why, but most beginners tend to pick a pick that's really, really thick. And the problem with that is when the pick passes over the strings on the guitar, it needs to be able to give a bit. Yeah, there needs to be some bend in it. You don't want it to be too thin, because then it creates a kind of flappy sound when you play. So you want there to be some resistance, but not too much. And if you choose a pick that's really thick, like more than 1 millimeter, then really, they should be used on bass guitars. So the ideal thickness that we want really for a beginner is somewhere between about 0.66 and 0.72. That's kind of the zone where I like, all of our students to be. At an absolute outside, the top thickness should be about 0.88. And don't go any thicker than that, because if you do, the pick won't be pliable enough. And what happens is it gets really hard to play with fluidity when the pick is too thick, because it catches on the strings. And what that does is it creates a physical barrier, so you can't get that nice, loose, relaxed strumming that you need if the pick is too thick. So the perfect range for a beginner guitarist, the perfect range is 0.66 or 0.72. Get one of each, because picks are pretty cheap and you can play around with them. In terms of the actual feel and texture of the pick that you want, just get a few and see what suits you. Like I said, it's a very personal thing, but the thickness of the pick really, really matters. So make sure you pick one that's within that range, and then that's just perfect for getting you started, so you can strum consistently and fluidly. And then as you progress more as a guitarist, you might want more control. So as you improve as a guitarist, generally people tend to get picks that are thicker, because it allows them to target notes a bit more accurately. But in the early days, you want something between 0.66 and 0.72. I hope this is useful and that you now know what the best guitar pick for a beginner is. If you want to learn the perfect way to hold a guitar pick, and you want to learn how to have perfect strumming technique, click the link in the video description now, and that will take you over to our site where you can download those two resources. Super useful. Learn how to use a pick properly and learn how to strum with perfect technique. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and catch you in the next one.